Okay, so with the machine sitting on its side, we need to remove the paper tray out of it. And then what we have to do is the particular solenoid we need to get to is hiding in through this hole. So you can see it in there. So the little trick to fixing this problem really quickly is, fortunately, they've built into the mold of this machine a little panel that's kind of an indicator of where to cut. So if we have a look, you can see here in the plastic mold a little squared off bit, and it just so, purely by accident, or because some smart engineers put it in there, all you have to do to get access to that solenoid really quickly is to cut this plastic panel out. So, get yourself some long nose pliers or a set of cutters like these that are quite strong. We just need to get this out. Like so. And then start hacking away at it. Of course, it'll be a lot easier when you're doing it two-handed, but this is the way we're doing it. It might look a bit rough. A bit of a bod's job, but it is actually the quickest way I've found of fixing this problem. And some printers I can fix in around 10 to 15 minutes, which is really quite useful when you're running from service call to service call fixing printers. So we simply cut this panel out, and there we can see inside is the solenoid that we need to get to. Now, if you follow the service manual's method of getting to this, it's like a 2 to 3 hour round trip. And it's a right real pain in the ass. This little shortcut, you can fix it really quickly, and then you can fix it permanently with my method that I've come up with to fix it. You just got to make sure that any of the bits of plastic that come off don't fly off inside. If they do, just get in there and get them out, like this little piece here. Get that out, otherwise it could end up getting stuck in the mechanism and then you'd be back at square one again. So you can see here, there's the screw we need to take out. And then with the screw out, you need to use a magnetized Phillips head. You can then lift this up and pull it out towards you and fix it. I must make that hole a little bit bigger. And then once you've fixed it and you put it all back together, if you're really pedantic, you can then just cover this hole with another bit of black plastic or white plastic, or you can just simply leave the hole there. It's not really going to make an absolute difference at all to the functioning of the machine. And there we go. Looks a bit rough, but you know, it's all about getting the printer functioning for the next 3 to 4 years. And no one will ever know that the hole is there unless they go specifically looking for it. Okay, I think that's done. So now we need to get a screwdriver in there. Now, conveniently, thanks to the wonders of Samsung design, they've placed a hole in exactly the right position that we need to use to get a screwdriver in there. How's that for luck? So we take our Phillips head, stick our Phillips head in the hole, make sure it's a magnetized screwdriver, stick it down, come down to the other side, stick it on the screw, and undo the screw. And just remember, the screw that goes in there is a black coloured screw. Every other screw in the printer is silver in colour. And there's the screw on our magnetised screwdriver. Okay, so now you can get the screwdriver in, lift it up, and bring it out towards you. Alright. You don't have to pull the entire thing out. If you want to, you can, but you will just make the job a whole lot more harder. If you do want to pull the whole thing out, you need to undo the cable that goes with it. There's the cable there. And just undo it from its socket. We just need a bit more cable because this one's a bit tight on this one. Some of them you'll find when you pull them apart will be really quite loose on the cables. There'll be plenty of cable to work with. Some of them there won't be so much. Alright, so we've freed the cable up a bit more, and that gives us enough room to get this out as far as we need. Now what you can do is you can simply unclip it like so, and bring it out towards you, just being careful not to stretch the spring or lose it. So if we have a look, so the problem with these units is they have these pieces of foam on here, and as you can see with this piece of foam, with the heat of summer, that foam has started to dissolve and it's basically turning back to this sticky gelatinous mess. Now the method I've come up with to fix it quickly, and we've done quite a number of them in the past few years, is you don't have to remove the foam, you can leave it there. You can simply get yourself some super glue, probably not as mangled as my tube is, and then we just apply some super glue to this area covering the foam. You push the super glue into the foam. Because it's foam, it's got holes and recesses. You put the super glue in there, it sucks it in and it makes the foam nice and taut again. So we'll just put some in there. This tube of super glue has seen better days. You'll have a better bit of glue than me. If you have a look, we've got some super glue on there now. And you just basically want to massage it into, trying not to super glue your finger to it, just get it in the foam. Just get the foam to absorb the super glue, and that gives the foam some structure again. Back up. So that foam has just sucked the super glue up again, and it's made the foam nice and really tight and firm. Now I go a bit further than this when I fix these. What I also do is I get myself some paper and I cut a rectangular piece of paper like so. And we get some super glue. So that foam, you could even just put it back in as it is and it would be fixed, because that foam is nice and solid now. So what I do to go the extra mile to stop it from coming back into the workshop again, is we put a bit of glue, more glue on it, spread it out right over the edge. Like so. Get the piece of paper and stick that over the top of the sponge with the super glue. Trying not to stick your fingers to it. And then we put super glue on top of the paper. Let the paper absorb the glue. You can see as you put the glue on the top of the paper as it's absorbing the glue will go opaque. So that will provide it more structure to bind the paper to the foam underneath and to make it pretty much a permanent fix. So then you want to trim the edges off so it's all the way it's supposed to be, flush. And that is it, like so. So the paper's on top of the foam's got super glue impregnated into it, and it becomes rock hard and it works perfectly. Just want to put this aside for a minute, let the glue dry off before you go reassembling it. So while you put this aside, you move on to the actual magnet part of this, because on here there is also another piece of foam right there, and we give this the exact same treatment that we did on this piece. So we'll put some super glue over the foam, we'll push it into the foam, let the foam absorb the super glue, and then we'll put a piece of paper on top of it, cover it with super glue and bind that as well. So I will need to do this and come back. Alright, so because my super glue tube has been used and used and used and it's mangled, I'm just going to get a flathead screwdriver. I'm going to put some super glue onto the tip. And then I'm just simply going to apply it onto the foam, and using the screwdriver I'm putting pressure onto the foam as well to get it to suck the super glue into the foam. Alright, so that's got the super glue in it. Now I'll get some paper and we'll put the paper on top. So there we go, we're just pushing a bit of paper, tiny little square of paper over that foam. We've got super glue already on that foam, and you can see straight away the super glue started to dry and it's taken that piece of paper on there. Now incidentally, you want to keep half of the magnet here, electromagnet I guess, free of paper, because it needs that bit of magnet there to be unobstructed so that the top of the solenoid can pull down. Alright,